Welcome to Good Morning Joy, brought to you by our friends over at Brave Healer Productions, waking the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. I'm so excited you are hanging out with me today. My name is Shari and I am your host, and you think you know the drill by now. Grab your favorite cuppa, get comfy, because we are about to have a whole lot of fun. Coming up on today's show, I've got Laura Di Franco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, and she is going to be sharing with us the power of helping people to be more brave in the world. And then we're going to travel all the way over to Malaysia to meet Oyen. And I'm going to be talking to some new peeps on the streets here in Los Angeles on Sharing with Shari. All of this and more, so make sure that you stay right here. So recently I received a DM on IG from I always feel so cool when I say that, DM, IG, or I feel really old, one or the other. But recently I received a DM from one of my followers who said to me, "Dear Shari, how do you stay so joyful? Do you ever have bad days? And if you do, what do you do about them?" Well, the first thing that I did do was laugh, because under this joyful exterior lies a real human. One that gets impatient, one that gets frustrated, and yes, one that actually has bad days. But I do something that this video I found perfectly encompasses it. Just a fair warning, there is some explicit language. Let's take a look.
When you have a bad day, give up. Go home and sleep. F it. Try again tomorrow.
So going back to bed is always an option, but I've come to find that I am not so hard on myself anymore about those tough days, because I have learned to navigate the twists and turns. Because ultimately, winter will turn to spring, and there will always be somebody or something to help pull you out of it. Like this week's good news story. I'm taking you over to Malaysia to share with you the good news you should know about on the Joy Report. Move over, lions and tigers. Oyen the ginger cat has stolen the spotlight. Oyen, who made his way, he was a stray cat who just made his way into the Malaysian zoo and has now canoodled up with the capybaras. He is eating with them, he is sleeping with them, he's even snuggling with them. Oyen became an internet sensation when a bunch of visitors actually caught him hanging out with them, and he's gone viral ever since. The zoo knows that they don't eat exactly the same, so they're feeding him his very own nutritious meals, which of course he deserves this royal treatment, because visitorship has gone up by 95% because of Oyen. Not only that, they just made him part of the family there, and they put his name on a plaque in the enclosure with the capybaras. And guess what else? They are actually finding him a partner. They're doing a whole kind of matchmaking so that they can have children together and carry on this amazing legacy of good vibes. If there's ever been a time or a story that proves that friendships can happen in the most unlikely places. So joining me here today, I have Laura Di Franco. She is a trailblazer. She is a world changer. She is the CEO and powerhouse behind Brave Healer Productions, our sponsor of Good Morning Joy. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for leaving this trail of smoke that you do wherever you go.
I am so excited to be with you today. This feels big. Thank you for having me.
Well, not only having you here today, I couldn't think of anybody more that I would want to be attached to this show. And it's honestly because of the brave work that you do in the world and how you help people share their stories and really start healing the world. And as you know, that's a personal mission of mine through television, and yours is through writing. So thank you. Can you share a little bit about your journey to being brave?
Well, I'm a retired physical therapist. I signed up early on to be a healer. And that meant to me that I was going to trailblaze that work first. So I had to look within. I had to do my own stuff so that I could go back out and teach it to other people. And I think that's where the Brave started.
Yeah, you like literally, you talk about ninja moves. You are, not just because you've gotten a black belt, which by the way, kudos. The only black belt I have are the ones in my closet. Okay, bad joke. So, but really you work your way, like I watch you not only show up for your community the way that you do with Brave Healers, but in the way that people have hired or been part of your community, but you go above and beyond. Like you bring people along for a ride, and it's such a powerful thing that you do. I'd love for you to share, about your community.
When I started the ride, I just asked people to raise their hand, like who wants to help the world with me? Let's teach some self-healing tools. That was the beginning of COVID when we all lost our hands on people. And so many people raised their hand right away. I was instantly just fired up from that. Like they gathered around, and now I just feel like they're all here today, right? They're all here behind me. And this feels big to me because it's not just about me anymore.
Yeah.
So the bigger that gets, the more energy that is, it just gets more exciting.
It is, and it's funny because you talked about, how they follow you everywhere and how they were going to be here with you today. And the first thing I thought was like, God, I hope we don't have a fire hazard with all of the people that come, because they have shown up for you in ways in your personal life, with something that you just recently went through. So it's a testament to you not just being the publisher of their books, but being a leader, being a friend, being a support.
I think that's really important. I think it's what makes us stand out as a company, actually. And the bigger companies get, the less personal it seems. And I just made a decision that wasn't going to be me, because if they can't know me and really, send me a message or get support, then who is it anymore, right? I feel like that all disappears when that personal aspect goes away. And that's also part of just showing up for myself in those ways, being authentic, just being a real person, being the real me, and really wanting to help people.
And you do, and it comes across honestly in everything you do. We met years ago with former company that I had, and it was so obvious your passion and your drive that it wasn't just about yourself. It was about all of the people that you were healing. And I remember taking your writing workshop, and I'd never written like that, where we tune inwards to our body. And this is what you call, is it Brave Story Medicine?
Oh my gosh, this is my favorite topic ever, okay?
Talk about it.
The writing, as soon as you talk about writing, let's go.
Yeah.
It's embodied, right? So when you can connect first and I did it really before the interview too, so that I could make sure I was here with you and not all crazy in my head, nervous and everything. But if you're here, then you're in your body, then you're moving a message through you from some place much bigger than you. So whether it's speaking or writing or anything you're doing in communication, that's kind of where I want to be, grounded and centered in that energy, in that place. It's a powerhouse place to be.
And it comes across, I keep saying that in everything you do, because you make a move and everybody feels it. And I watched, we just recently did a workshop together, and I just watch how your community shows up for you. And that is a testament to how much you give and how much you believe in them. And talk to me about this Brave movement. Do you believe, obviously you do, but I'm gonna ask anyway, do you believe that through writing and sharing our stories that there is healing?
Yeah, of course. I think there's healing in all layers and all aspects. If I decide to get something out of my head and onto the paper, that's like level 1 brave. If I decide to share it with someone, even just a friend, that's level 2 brave. Then if I decide to actually publish it somewhere, that's level 3 brave, right? And there's these different levels of this. Stepping on a stage and grabbing a microphone, whole nother level, right? Being here is a whole nother level for me.
Yeah, and you continually surpass what I think you would think are your brave levels, like being here today and always. What is that about? Where does that come from within you?
I call that purpose-driven fear. And it's aligned with what I want to do in the world. It may still feel kind of crazy inside of me, but there's always this tinge of excitement that goes with it and alignment with the bigger vision. And I've had a really big vision for a long time. So I get messages all the time, oh, you're afraid of not being good enough. That's kind of boring. Like, it's time to go for it,
And you do. And let me ask you, because I know that we listen to some of the same, inspirational people in the morning and things like that. I think what I love so much, one of the many things about how you show up in the world, is your honesty and your vulnerability. You might have all of these tools at your fingertips, but you still go through it, right? Like we all do, and you still share. And so talk about your ninja moves of awareness.
Ninja moves, what does that even mean, right? I think in the martial arts training, that's where it first came in, because people think of martial arts as being able to land an axe kick on somebody's head, and it's very physical and very defensive. But if you aren't disciplining the mind in those moments, you got a problem. So I just took that into my real life, day-to-day moments. My ninja moves are just staying aware and staying present, noticing what I'm feeling inside no matter what is going on, and then not making that mean anything extra. That's where we get in trouble. We assume things, we put meaning on the happenings of our life, and then, we can dive into the pit with that. So you gotta watch it. Yeah, ninja moves are awesome to have.
I love it, because life does feel like it's constantly coming at us, and either we can, get knocked over by it, or we can, that was a terrible ninja move, but
It was good, I liked it.
Thank you, thanks for entertaining me. But so I wanna go back though to where this came from you. I know that you were married for many years, and this really struck me about your story. It was about you talk about following your compass, your joy compass, and that means sometimes following things that aren't easy. Can you talk about that part?
I think a lot of times we're following all of the things that everyone else taught us we should want to be happy. And we've checked off the boxes one by one. And I was in that place where wow, I checked off a lot of boxes. I mean, achievement was my drug of choice for a really long time. So I was a good achiever and I did it all. And I sat there and I'm like, why do I not feel happy? So I had to just look at it all and start to make decisions based on my own desires. I realized that none of the wants were based on any time of me spending with myself, asking my own self what it was. It was just based on what I had been taught. So it takes some courage to back up a couple steps and decide to do something different. And that was one of the things that I made a decision about that was not easy, but it moved me forward in a good way.
Yeah, I think starting over from anything is not easy, and that's just another way to show up brave, because it really is one of the most difficult things. You've published over 70 books, right? Like you probably have lost count. And you have published over 1,000 authors. Like this isn't, a 1, 2, 3 publishing house. This is like a mission that you're on. Can you share what it is that the Brave Healer community, if someone came on and wanted to, write a book, what is that process? What does it look like for them?
Well, in our world, it's very collaborative, and that's the power and the energy of it. I was telling you that, a whole bunch of people raised their hands and said they wanted to do that with me right early on. And at that time, I was like, oh, this is fun. That was nice. And I wasn't even thinking about moving forward with more until a friend, thank you, Lilia, she emailed me. She's like, oh, when are you doing the next book? And I'm like, oh, now I guess, right? And here we are celebrating 74 collaborative titles later. Like something much bigger than me is running this show. Mm-hmm. I think I just got really good at following the breadcrumbs of that joy. And what was aligned were these people wanting help with being seen and heard and sharing this very, very profound healing work that they're all doing in the world. So that mission is like, hey, yeah, let's grab hands and let's give people master toolkits for healing in all the ways you can think about: mind, body, soul, spirit, everything.
And what's so great is that you don't just publish their books. Like, that's just the start of it. I mean, you're doing first kids books, you're doing business books, you have a school. Talk to me about like the big vision and where you're going with this.
No, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book is just the beginning. I'm so glad you said that, because people get very excited about a published book. They should get excited about that, but that's just the beginning of the journey. How are you going to share the work after that? So we have an online learning platform, the Transformation School. We have a writer's circle where you can practice the craft and the art of writing. And we have the kids' book imprint of Brave Healer Productions. I'll shout out Kelly really quick. Big thank you to my main assistant, Kelly, who is making that alive in the world. And our kids are the future. So Brave Kids Books is near and dear to my heart, and thanks to Kelly, it's moving.
Amazing. I mean, you're not stopping. Every time I look at you, I'm like, how is she doing something else? And you go, like, it's not even just, your community. You're always connecting people. Like, you really see how we are all connected in the world and how all of us can help one another. Have you always been that way?
I think I was always a connector, but I love calling myself a super connector now, because when it clicked, I realized that's the community building, that's the power, it's the energy. It is all very high vibe, but it's not competitive, it's collaborative. It is so much bigger and better than trying to do it by yourself or alone. I mean, some of us probably were taught that success meant you were doing it alone. And it is the complete opposite. So in those connections is the magic of all of this. So yeah, I love connecting people. I'm like, oh, you need to meet so-and-so, you need to meet so-and-so. And I'd watch those connections. And I'm smiling about it now because it makes me feel so great to put people together like that.
It's amazing, but I gotta tell you, every time you do it, I'm like, shoot, I don't know if I know anybody. Like, it makes me like, and I know you're not doing it so someone else does it, but it's such a gift that you have to bring people together. And I really feel like your books, your company, all of it is so powerful. It's a reason, again, why we are aligned in this partnership. And can you share with us, before we go to commercial, will you talk about awareness? And you mentioned about how awareness is really about the way you fall in love with life.
Awareness is everything. So with awareness, you have a choice. Think about that for a minute. Sometimes people don't want to take responsibility for everything in their life, but I feel that that's freedom. So the practice of awareness is the pathway to that freedom. So you start by noticing what you're thinking and what you're saying and what you're doing in the world, and you show up taking responsibility for that practice. And I'll always say body awareness. We talked about that already with the writing, because it's right here that is the first step to kind of even knowing what's going on, feeling your own feelings.
Well, I think I would say that's one of the ways or reasons why you're running this empire, is because of that awareness, because of tuning in and noticing and following that next inspired action. What is the big, juicy vision for Brave Healer Productions?
Oh, the big vision. I really just see us being the place where holistic health and wellness professionals want to come to publish their books, but also the community where they can be seen and heard in bigger ways. I see that word, the, capital T, capital H, capital E, right? The place, the publishing house for those people, because it is so much more than just the books. It's how we take the idea that your brave words will change the world, right? And we put that into everything that we do.
So beautiful. We got to go to commercial for a word from our sponsors. Oh, that's you. And then we're going to come back and we're going to have some fun together. Okay, Laura. I'm like, all right, let's get. So you mentioned that one of your favorite quotes is that you measure your success by the amount of fun that you're having. And so would you like to have some fun?
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
Okay, so I came together with this game, and we used to play it in, my parents don't like to hear this, but we played this, in elementary school, Truth or Dare.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And so you have a couple of options here. I mean, it's really either truth or dare, but depending on time, I just want to know, give me something, truth or dare?
Truth.
Okay, so if you could switch lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh.
Or celebrity or anyone.
Wow, just for a day? All right, I'm gonna call on Elizabeth Gilbert for just one day. Just to sit in her awesome writing brain shoes and see how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met her once, so that's kind of cool.
She's the whole reason why I went to Italy for the summer, was because of Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm all in on Elizabeth Gilbert. All right, truth or dare?
Oh, I gotta go for a dare, I guess, this time. I don't know. I mean,
I mentioned that you are a spoken word poet, and I was wondering if you could share with us, I know I'm putting you on the spot, one of your poems, or you can make one up.
oh, wow. Okay. Laura DeFranco is my name, and brave healing is my game. And how about we do a little brave healing right now? Good?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna show you how. Rest your mind, take a breath, feel the words that are said. Drop down inside, recognize hiding isn't the answer. Take a moment to feel everything. Maybe you'll see we all feel everything. Nothing's really right or wrong. It's all more like a song. You like rock, I like jazz, but all music has a vibe, and it's the vibe we feel that's real. No word or rhyme or melody is better. It all just depends on what jives with your heart, makes your soul light on fire, or dance, or sing, or express. All right, you guys will have to read the book to listen to the rest. How's that?
No, I just got lit up inside. Thank you for thanks for being brave to do that. How long have you been doing spoken word?
Gosh, couple of years past. Everything is before COVID or after COVID now.
Right.
So I'm going to say since 2014, maybe.
Wow, that I would say more. I mean, everything you do is brave, but just getting on that stage and doing that, that's a big one. Okay, so one more. I think we have time for one more. Truth or dare?
Okay, truth.
Okay. What's a goal or dream that you haven't shared with many or anybody?
This is kind of personal, but I want to go to Japan for the Ultra Music Festival.
Oh, that's right. You're Miss EDM, right? You're all in. I love these sides of you. I love that you're, black belt, that you've got this healing, that you got EDM. You are you're all of it. You're all of it. I'm so excited for us to work together this season. Last question for you. What secretly brings you joy?
Aside from dark chocolate, probably puppies.
Oh, I love it.
Not a big secret, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there a secret one that maybe many people don't know about?
Thank you for asking me to do a poem. And I think that's probably not a secret, but the secret part is that I feel so connected to that channel that when I'm in there, I feel like I'm doing part of what I was born to do just by moving those words through. So I don't ever think I got a chance to say that out loud, so thank you.
You got it, and we can feel that too. Thank you for the powerful, world-changing, brave work that you're doing to help all of us heal, and to not leave people alone out there on their own doing it, but to be bringing them along with you. And I'm so glad that you're along for this Good Morning Joy ride. So appreciate you.
Thank you, Shari. Thank you so much for what you do as well. Again, this is the perfect partnership, and I'm so grateful to you.
And now one of my favorite segments of Good Morning Joy, where I get to go hang out with the peeps on the street in this week's If Buddy could understand English, or maybe he does, what is something that you would want him to express to you? What do you want to know from Buddy?
If he likes his food or not. I actually have, I'm going to a movie and I have his food with me, and I give him Caesar filet mignon, and I don't know if he likes it or not, but he eats it.
Do you think he eats it out of desperation because there's nothing
I
else?
hope not. I mean, he seems to gulp it up, but it looks disgusting. I think he would probably say, get better food.
Buddy, are you cool with his food choices? All right, I'm going to ask you one last question. The world is all listening right now, and you have 30 seconds to share a message. What would you want to say to people?
I would want to say that there's faith in the world. There's hope in the world. There's plenty of good people. For every bad person, we tend to look at the bad. We should really open our eyes to what it can be and make that happen. We never pass on a frown, but pass on a smile.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, your smile today with us and Buddy, and your good sense of humor.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Good Morning Joy, where every day starts with a smile. Be sure that you stay tuned in for this week's Soul Hugs. Welcome to Kanha Shantivanam, the global headquarters of heartfulness. I am so excited to take you on an in-venture, a journey to the center. Come along as we explore all parts of heartfulness in hopes to be able to connect you back home. Welcome to Soul Hugs. Meet Kamlesh D. Patel, affectionately known to many as Daaji. He is a multiple best-selling author and the global leader of Heartfulness, which is a meditation practice by over 1 million meditators worldwide.
We have to redefine meditation. It's an art of enhancing your inner voice.
The right voice.
Right, yeah. Amplify the voice of your heart through meditation.
I remember when I first discovered heartfulness, right before I spoke to you the first time, and it felt like, oh, thank goodness. I found when I would try to, quiet the mind, as most people, it's impossible. Impossible. And so to just have this other outlet to go, oh, I could sit with my heart. And that felt in that moment, the first time, so much stronger and more connected.
You felt at home. Home is always within.
Why do you think that we don't spend as much time there?
Because it speaks the truth.